I don't know what kind of numbers I'll get on this because this is just more like you show me the Rev 4, the guy with the combat boots, but the shit the Red 4, the prison like. This is the part 2 of the thing we responded to about that, but maybe this is not useful, but it might clear up a lot of things. We have made videos about a bunch of things that relate to this. Listen, and I said this in that Loch Ness apartment, but I was like drinking at the time, so I probably said it not quite eloquently. Let's say, here's the thing: when Clinton's internal security forces started like deciding that they were gonna go after like what they were calling like far right wing groups. And they cornered, what they did is they went after these, we made videos about it. These peaceful people want to be left alone as a family, living in a cabin. What they were trying to do, it's kind of like that, I'd say it's a lot like that Leonard Peltier thing that it's an American Indian guy who they did some, in the 60s or 70s, the Internal Security Force did a similar thing. They were looking to get an informant to go inside the Aryan nations, which is like a anti-Semitic group, and is filled with people with probably limited intelligence. I mean, like I said, even the like National Alliances, they don't think much of those people. But here's the thing: they make fun of them actually. But here's the thing: what happened is, when they when Clinton's internal security forces, I'm getting to something about Israel too. When Clinton's internal security forces surrounded, a Christian family living by themselves, minding their own business, and killed the wife by shooting her in the throat and everything. Right. I mean, people came out and held up swastikas to the internal security forces holding these SWAT teams. Yeah, they held up swastikas to them. What's going on? What's going on is, I'm saying, when any government or anything behaves irrationally or violently without explanation, without explanation, I'm saying people become scared, and some people become they come to conclusions. Who's in control of the American government that they're doing this to peaceful Christian people living in the mountains? Okay, so yeah, they come out and can't believe that woman has a very powerful scene. I don't know if the clips are still online. Walking up to one of the SWAT team guys holding machine guns, saying "Are you proud of yourselves? Are you proud of what you've done? Like killing an innocent woman?" Right, and people who were furious about it, live up in the mountains, came out and held up swastikas to the internal security forces. Okay, that's shown on the news. Oh my God, there's all these anti-Semites in the country. It's not that. It's the same phenomenon as you say. Why are people in groups and they hold all these anti-Semitic beliefs? Well, a big part of it is no one, including your narrator here, understands why Israel uses violence of force the way it does. It's really unjustified. You're allowed to defend yourself, but I think even under the formal international law, you can't defend yourself with force, disproportionate force. Someone, lone person fires a rocket to you, kill 70,000 civilians. No one knows what to think. So, it ramps up all kinds of hostilities that are there. Right, same thing. You send, someone's in control of the government at one time that's sending the internal security forces after peaceful people, living in rural areas and claiming that they're part of something called the far right wing when they're really just a, Christian group or whatever and they're actually looking to get and trap them and get them to be informants. Yeah, people come to all kinds of conclusions about who's in control. But, as these things come out of something, they don't come out of nothing. And I'm saying you're signaling about a bunch of things tonight, but I'm saying the last thing I can say about it is when governments behave irrationally and harm innocent people, people come to conclusions and people get very scared and very hostile. And if you just look at that, well, then you sort of miss the big picture. But I don't know why Israel does what it does. Who actually backs it in a serious sense? Just they use our military equipment. Like I said, I think Chomsky is being cynical to say it's an offshore U.S. military base. I think there's a bunch of things going on but I still don't know why it does what it does, and it's not in danger. It's not in danger. It has our military equipment at its disposal, and why it threatened Iran, and then why when the Iranian leader made a statement, which any leader would make when the people are terrified. They know their neighbor Lebanon was invaded 3 times. They're terrified, probably. They haven't attacked anyone. So the leader said, if they attack us, we'll push them into the ocean. Okay. They played that. That's all they talked about in the news, that Iran had threatened Israel. It's out of context, and it's that far out of context, it's a lie. But I don't know why they threatened to invade Iran. Like I said, that's insane. That's something a criminally insane government will come up with. But I'm saying, who's behind that or whatever? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Iran has always been a country that ultimately we would be having diplomatic relationships with because the European countries do, and all the other industrialized countries do. It's just a matter of like, you know, overseeing their, what they have the right to do, develop nuclear power as a replacement for oil, which everyone should be looking into how we're going to deal with, like, because oil is causing so many conflicts. But I mean, when governments do hateful things, whether it's inside this country under like Clinton and whatever that government was controlled by, or when Israel does it, people come to all kinds of conclusions. That's a lot of what led to the Oklahoma City bombing. These things they're not random. When people like are, when you do things like that, people respond in different ways. They're reacting to like being frightened mainly, and then they become angry. That's like, that should be said at least once.